الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق أجمعين محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Subject of fiqh, and we are discussing about mutahhiraat, or how to purify a najis thing. We said there are many things which purify. One of them is water, that is generally known, and water will purify najis thing by being washed. If it is urine and it is a small amount of water, it's better to be washed 2 times, or sometimes better 3 times. If it is a cloth to be squeezed, then the washed water will come. And if the contamination is by blood or by some other impurities, then it should be washed only 1 time, only urine 3 times, the rest are 1 time, and so on. We discuss about water, but we come to the second thing which purify things, agent, and that is the earth. The earth purify not everything, but actually earth is purifying the shoes while we are walking, and there are certain conditions mentioned which we'll read at issue 184. The earth makes the sole of one's feet and shoes tahir, provided that the following 4 conditions are fulfilled. First, the earth should be tahir. Second, the earth should be dry as a precaution. Third, as an obligatory precaution, the najasat should have stuck from the earth. 4, if najasul ayn, like blood or urine or something which has become najis, like najis clay, is stuck on the sole of a foot or a shoe, it will be tahir only if it is cleared by walking on earth or by rubbing the foot of the shoes against it. Therefore, if najasul ayn vanishes by itself and not by walking or rubbing on the ground, the foot or the sole will not be tahir by earth, as an obligatory precaution. And the earth should be dust or sand, or consisting of stones, or laid with bricks, which means walking on carpet, mats, green grass will not make the sole of feet or shoes tahir. Here he mentioned many things. He said, first of all, it will make one's foot or sole or the shoes tahir. Means if you are walking barefooted on earth, and then because the earth sometimes having najis things, by walking more, and when the original impurity is removed, when you walk more, it will be tahir by itself. No need to wash it with water. So that is only the sole of the feet if you are walking barefooted, or if you are walking with shoes, the sole of the shoes will be tahir. The conditions, he said, first, the earth itself should be tahir. If the earth is najis, then walking on it will not make things tahir. The second one mentioned that the earth should be dry. If it is wet with water or rain, as a precaution, it will not make things tahir. The third also said, an obligatory precaution, the najasat should have stuck from the earth. I mean, the shoes or the feet become najis from the earth by walking on the earth, not at home. Your foot had blood for injury for any reason, and then you walk on it and then blood is removed, it will not be tahir. Now, if you are walking in the street, and in the street there is a blood of animal or something, or urine or stool, whatever najasat, and then when you walk more and you rub it with earth, the original impurity is gone. By more walking, then it will be tahir by itself. So that najasat should be from earth itself, not from outside. And also the fourth condition that he said here, he said najis al-ain should have gone by either rubbing it if you are standing, or better to walk for some time, and it's mentioned at certain areas it's better walking for about 15 yards, the size of a human being, which is about 45 centimeters, not almost ordinary yard is 2 yards, which they said between the finger and the elbow, that is the yard used, So 15 yards is something around 7.5 usual yards, or let's say 7 meters roughly, about that, So he said, if najis al-ain or blood or urine or something else become najis and stuck on the foot or shoes, then it will be clean by clearing it through walking. This happens because sometimes the clay by walking will be there, and then the clay will affect your cloth. So if there is no original impurity, you can regard it as tahir, though it is from the floor. Now he said the blood or urine or stool, that original impurity should be removed by walking on the floor, on the ground, not by itself. Now, if by itself the urine dried by itself will not be tahir in that sense, or if it is taken by tissue paper, will be contaminated, will not be tahir. You remove the blood by tissue paper, so there is no blood on the sole, then you have not removed it by rubbing, you removed it by tissue paper. It will not be tahir. In that case, you have to wash it with water. But if there is blood from the ground itself and you walk, and by walking it is removed, then it will be tahir in that way. And also, he said, what do we mean by earth? We say the ground, the floor, or the earth. If we have to discuss, what do we mean by earth? You see, earth is the original earth, like sand, or if it is a clay, or original bricks, that is called stones. These are the earth. But if it is a carpet, okay, you're walking on carpet, it is a ground, but this is not regarded as earth, So walking on carpet will not clean it. If you walk on a grass at the park, it will not clean your shoes, So it should be a natural earth. Issue 185, walking over a tar road or a wooden floor will not make the najis sole of feet and shoes tahir. It is a matter of ishkal. Well, again, here, as we said, what is definition of earth? Nowadays, difficult to find earth. There is in the streets, there is a tar. Usually, is that tar regarded as earth? Said no. Tar is not regarded as earth. That is why mahal ishkal. Ishkal means, well, it is questionable to be regarded as earth. It is not earth. Earth, as he said before, it should be a stone or dust or clay or sand, which is the natural earth. This is not a natural earth. So by walking on the tar, it will not clean the impurities of the sole or shoes. Issue, the wood also, as you said, if wood on the floor, then that is not natural earth. Again, it will not pure our shoes. Issue 186, in order to make the sole of one's feet or shoe tahir, it is better that one should walk a distance of at least 15 arm lengths or more, even if the najasat disappears by walking a lesser distance or by rubbing one's foot on the earth. So he said there must be certain walking distance. You may rub your feet and remove the najasat, but it will not be tahir till you move around, as he said, 15 feet, which is usually is 15 steps, because each step is around 45 or 50 centimeter So it's usually about 15, let us say 20 steps. It will cover that distance. Issue 187, it is not necessary that the najis sole of one's feet or shoes are wet. They become tahir by walking on earth, even if they are dry. Let us say if blood dried, or if urine dried, or stool dried, then by walking it will be tahir even if it is dry. Not like it should be wet. Of course it will come by when we discuss sun, how it will make najis thing pure. We said there it should be wet and dry by sun. Here they said no, not necessary to be wet. Even if it is dry, it will become pure by walking. Issue 188, when the najis sole of one's foot or shoe becomes tahir by walking on earth, the parts adjacent to it, which are usually blotched with mud, becomes tahir. So the practical question, when you walk, your foot below, okay, will be tahir. But what about the sides? These sides are not rubbed on the earth, So he said, well, when the impurity is removed, those sides which were contaminated by earth, it will be also regarded as tahir. Not the above section, but adjacent parts which are related to it are regarded as tahir as well. Issue 189, if a person moves on his hands and knees, and his hands or knees becomes najis, it is improbable that they become tahir by such movement. Similarly, the end of a stick, the bottom of an artificial leg, the shoe of quadruped, and the wheels of a car or a cart, etc., would not be tahir. See, this rule is only for our sole if we are walking barefooted, or our shoes, So if somebody handicapped and he moved by his hands and knees, he crawl on the floor, then if his hands become najis, will not be tahir by removing original impurity. This is not for that. Again, if one use the stick, and if the bottom of the stick become najis, by rubbing it on the earth will not be tahir, that is not there. The car wheel are there, is walking on the streets, but suppose not on a tar, on a sandy land, but they say that again will not be tahir. So the rule and regulations is only for the sole of the human being and his shoes, not for the car, because walking on the earth will be tahir. He said no, that is not the rule. It has to be washed with water if we need to make a tahir for any reason. Issue 190, if after walking the smell or color of the najasat or its invisible particles remain in the sole of the feet or the shoe, there is no harm in it, although the recommended precaution is that one should walk so much that these things also disappear. So he said the original impurity as such is not there, but still smell or certain color of the najasat is there, color of the blood is there, or smell is there. He said, well, as recommended precaution, not obligatory, that one has to walk so much that even smell and color will go, but that is only recommended precaution. Issue 191, the inner part of the shoe does not become tahir by walking, and similarly the under part of the socks will not become tahir unless it is made of skin or something similar and one walks with it. You see, we said the sole of the shoes, not inside the shoes. Inside the shoes, if it is najis, when we walk, will not be tahir. Well, inside has to be washed with water. And also, if somebody walk with his socks, and he walk on the floor with his socks, and his socks become najis, due to blood or urine or stool or anything. If he walk more, the socks will be tahir. He said no, socks will not be tahir. Unless he mentioned certain types of special socks which are made of leather. It is like shoes, below it is a leather and above look like socks. Well, the Arabs sometimes they used to do it and have it. The below of it is a type of leather like the shoes, and above is soft like a sock. So that is actually like shoes regarded, not like ordinary socks. So you say that is something else that is different. It regarded like shoes, and it can be tahir by walking. These are the general rules and regulations about the earth, how it make najis thing as tahir. We come to another issue, and that is the sun. Of course, here we see sun will make certain things are tahir, not everything, not like water. If everything washed by water will be tahir. No, these are certain things which are mentioned here. The fixing, the buildings and the wall and the floor or the roof of the house and other things which are discussed here. Issue 192. The sun makes the earth, building and the walls tahir, provided the following 5 conditions are fulfilled. So we'll make tahir not everything, not my hand is najis, I put it in sun will be tahir. No, that is not there. It is for fixed buildings, So the wall, the floor, the roof, and similar things which are fixed in the building. These are discussed, but there should be 5 conditions in order for them to be tahir. First, the najis thing should be sufficiently wet, and if it is dry, it should be made wet so that the sun dries it up. The area which is najis should be wet and dry by effect of the sun. Not that it is a dry and will be tahir. No, sunshine. If the roof of the house, is najis and dry and the sun shine, it will not be tahir. But if you put little water to make it wet and the sunshine will make it tahir. Second, if the najisul ayn is present on that thing, it should be removed from it before it is dried by the sun. So naturally, original impurity should not be there. If original impurity is there, that will remain najis, even by sun or by any way, cannot be, even by water will not be tahir, because original impurity is najis, should be removed completely. The contamination is to be made tahir with water, or here, if the roof or the wall is contaminated, then that contamination should be wet and dry by the sun, and then it will be tahir. So this is the second condition. The third condition, nothing should intervene between the najis thing and the sun. Therefore, if the rays fall on the najis thing from behind a curtain, etc., or a cloud, and makes it dry, the thing will not become tahir. But there is no harm if the cloud is so thin that it does not serve as an impediment between the najis thing and the sun. So there should be direct sunlight to come. If there is too much cloud which prevents sunlight, there is light but there is no sunlight, will not make it tahir. So it should be sunlight shining directly. For only the sun should make the najis thing dry. So if a najis thing is jointly dried by the wind and the sun, it will not become tahir. However, it would not matter if the wind blows lightly, and it may not be said that it has had any share in making the najis thing dry. Now, if the weather is windy and the thing which was wet become dry because of the wind and the sun, so it would not be sufficient. It should be dried by the sun itself. Unless there is little wind, of course, always there is air and little wind, but the effect of that is not much. And you say because of hot sun it has dried. And 5, the sun should dry up the whole najis part of the building all at once. If the sun dries the surface of the najis earth or building first and later on dries the inner part, only the surface will become tahir and the inner portion will remain najis. You know, the roof has thickness, you know. If, let us say, made of a clay and water, or, let us say like urine, it goes little below, you know, and be 1, 2, 3 millimeter below. So if it is wet and all of it at once become dried by effect of the sun, all of it will be tahir. But if it's only the surface and the below will remain wet, did not dry by the sun, the surface will be tahir, but inner part will remain najis. So these are 5 conditions. He said that it should be dry and should be by effect of the sun, and but should be direct shining of the sun, and the original impurity should be removed, and then if it should be dried right away, all of it. Otherwise, if inside is still wet, only outside, which dried by the sun, will be tahir, inside will remain najis. Issue 193, a najis mat will be made tahir by the sun, but if it is woven with threads, then the threads becoming tahir is a matter of ishkal. Similarly, the sun does not, in all probabilities, make tahir the trees, the grass, the doors, and the windows. You know, here again, when he said is the fixed thing, not meaning the trees or the windows and the doors, only the wall or the roof that is there. But then he said about the mat, if it is najis and you put it under sunlight, and if it is wet and dry by sunlight, that also become tahir. But because the mat has a thread, the thread differs from the wood. He said the thread mahal ishkal. There is a questionable if the thread also will be tahir. The thread will not be tahir because it has to be washed with water, and as we said, we have to squeeze the remaining water in it. Issue 194, if the sun shines on najis earth and one doubts later whether the earth was wet or not at that time, or whether the wetness dried up because of the sunrise or not, the earth will remain najis. Similarly, if one doubts whether najis al-ain had been removed from the earth before sunshine, or whether there was any impediment preventing direct sunshine, the earth will remain najis. Well, as we said, the general rule, everything which we were certain about it, our certainty will not change with doubt. It should be removed with another certainty. We were certain that the roof, for example, or the wall was najis. Now we doubt whether when sun shines it was wet or not. Naturally, the doubt has no value. It will remain najis in that. We doubt if original impurity was removed or not. We doubt if it dried because effect of the sun alone or sun and the wind, you know. So if there is doubt, naturally will not make it tahir, because originally it was impure, and that will continue till we are certain again by washing with water, or by the 5 conditions mentioned about sunlight to dry in the sunlight. Issue 195, if the sun shines on one side of a najis wall, and as a consequence of it the other side of the wall also dries up, then both the sides will be considered as tahir. You know, if it is a thin wall and both are from outside till inside all is wet, and from one side sunshine, and the effect of the sun is so much that the other side is also, it is because of it is thin, other side it dried, eye effect. In certain areas of the Middle East, the sun is very hot and the area is very dry. So if the wall is little wet, it will dry quickly with the sun because of effect of the sun. So you give that example that if all of it dried by effect of the sun, then all of it will be tahir. Well, it is sufficient up to here, and then we discuss inshallah the transformation in the next session. والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.